Hi, my name is Julie and this is my husband Asher, and we are the owners of Red Cat Adventures in beautiful Airlie Beach. We're absolutely stoked to walk you through our journey to becoming an entrepreneur. We've been in business together for over a decade and we've seen all the highs, a lot of lows. And when we first started our business, we didn't have a guide or a manual on how to do it. So if you're thinking of starting your own business, you probably know exactly how we felt back then. We were so nervous and excited, and we kept wondering if it was all going to work out for me and Ash. Now this course is all about the stuff we wish that we'd known when we first started. We wanted to share with you what we've learned over the last 10 years. These lessons should include everything on how to come up with a business idea, maybe one that works anyway, and how to write a business plan and how to create an amazing brand. No matter how big or small your business idea, you have the power to become an entrepreneur. So what are we waiting for? Let's kick things off.
What comes to mind when you think of the word entrepreneur? Maybe you picture Steve Jobs, private jets and business owners in $2,000 suits. It all seems so mystifying, intimidating and out of reach. But actually, that's not what entrepreneurship means at all. Confused? Please don't worry, we've got you back. In this lesson, we're talking about what being an entrepreneur is really about and giving you our 5 top tips on how to get started on this exciting journey towards owning your own business. Now, first things first, what is an entrepreneur and how do you become one? Well, let me ask you something. Do you want to make a difference? Do you have an idea that can solve a problem, improve a service, or offer something to the market? Are you curious about the world and how it works? Do you have the drive to chase your dreams, and are you prepared to put out fires and take risks? Congratulations, you've already locked into the entrepreneurial spirit. For Jules and I, that was all we really had in the beginning. Just this ambition to have our own business, an idea that we thought was pretty great. We also had the drive to make it a reality, and with plenty of hard work and some good luck along the way, we turned it into our success story.
Becoming an entrepreneur is sometimes seen as an afterthought to achieving your goal, like something that you graduate from after you have found success. But the truth is, it's actually the other way around. If your goal is to try and sell unique jewelry or to found the next Amazon or Netflix, you simply can't have success in business without being an entrepreneur already. So how do you get prepared to be a successful entrepreneur? What does it take to start your own business? Well, we've got 5 key tips for you, and I'm going to hand that all over to Ash.
Number 1, understand the core values that matter to you and develop your business around them. This sounds a bit wishy-washy, but these core values will guide you through every step of the way. They'll help you set goals, make hard choices, and connect with your customers. So what's most important to you? Being environmentally friendly? Helping your community? For Jules and I, honesty has always been a guiding value for Red Cats. Knowing that helps us understand our goals, our target market, and ourselves. Number 2, do your research. We cannot stress this enough. Know everything there is to know about the market. Read as much as you can. The internet is an incredible resource. Use it. And that includes social media. Follow people you admire. Get inspired. Learn from their mistakes. Number 3, be flexible and open. Seek out success stories from other industries and hear about different approaches. They say there's no new ideas, only ideas that are better versions of stuff that came before. You never really know where inspiration and opportunity may strike. Number 4, find a style and structure that suits you. There is no one-size-fits-all approach to business. An idea that works is one that works for you and your customers, no matter what that looks like. And lastly, number 5.
Work with integrity. It's so important. This is true in a lot of different ways. Have self-integrity. Stay true to who you are. Have integrity with your business partners and your opportunities. Be clear about your goals and your expectations. And of course, have integrity with your customers. Be honest with them and deliver on it. and always do your best to provide the best quality product or service that you can. That's how you turn customers into long life supporters. Remember, success might look different to how you first imagined it. If you're enjoying yourself and you're making a contribution that you feel good about, there are no wrong or right answers. Owning your own business is incredibly empowering. It allows you to live your dreams, focus on your priorities, and drive your own direction. Owning our business gives us so much confidence. It's amazing to come from nothing and then meet important people or peers that start taking you seriously. It's an opportunity to give back, just like we are now. We use our voice to make our industry better. Taking on our own business is one of the most rewarding things we've done together to date.
So, wherever that niggling idea in your head might lead you, pursue it with freedom, tenacity, and passion. You just never know where it may take you. Now it's your turn. Go over the 5 key points in this lesson, and for each one, write down at least 3 ideas or resources for how you'll apply them to your new business. And remember, becoming successful requires entrepreneurship, not the other way around. Learn as much as you can. Be flexible and open to new ideas. Owning your own business can be incredibly empowering.
Do you know the saying, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one single step? Well, this lesson is all about how to take that very first step. It's important to choose the right idea to get your business off the ground. Maybe you already have an idea in mind, or even a few thoughts that are just simmering away in the background. But how can you tell if an idea is the right one for you? So, here we're going to talk about how you come up with an idea, assess its viability, and most importantly, test if it actually has a place in the market. First, we have to say that a successful business idea is rarely a bolt of inspiration that just comes out of nowhere. The actual truth is that not all ideas are right for you. Not all ideas will work in the market, and even more gutting, not all ideas are going to become a reality. But you can't let that stop you. There are lots of steps between coming up with your first idea and seeing a successful idea play out in reality. You just have to keep working at it. Stay passionate. Keep to your core values. Please do your market testing until you hit the right angle and the right market position. Now, let's start at the beginning, coming up with an idea.
Don't be afraid to take inspiration from anything and anywhere. Some of the best ideas have come from the most random places. The invention of the microwave oven was a complete accident, for example. In the 1940s, an engineer was trying to improve military radar equipment when he realised the chocolate bar in his pocket was melting. He decided to put some popcorn in the machine to see what would happen, and the rest is history. So, that's our first tip. Be open and expose yourself to as many different industries and technologies as you can. The more you research, the more resources you have to inspire you. Once you have an idea, expand on it by asking, 1, what do you hope to achieve with your idea? 2, will it reflect your core values? 3, will it generate extra revenue? 4, if you have an existing business, will this new idea add value? And 5, will our existing business remain stable if this idea fails? If you run into problems with any of these questions, your idea isn't ready. Keep working at it.
Now that you have an idea, it's time to test whether it's viable. First, it's really important to establish early goals and timelines. Keep yourself accountable to help stay on track. Do your market research and ask some deeper questions. For example, what is already out there? Are you developing an existing idea or creating a whole new product? What makes your product stand out in the market? How can we do an idea better or differently to what's already out there? It's not enough to just try and make something at a cheaper price. Now, test your idea in the market. This is absolutely essential step on your way to developing a successful business. You can have the best idea ever, but if people don't respond to it in the real world, you're just not going to get very far. You can test your own idea on a group of existing customers, that's if you have them, or on a test group. This can be as simple as pitching your idea to your customers and just asking them, what do they think? For our cafe, we put up a suggestion box outside and asked the locals to let us know what they'd want from our shop. You could also do things like post in online forums. As a warning, when you start a business, you'll probably find that everyone and their mum want to give you advice. Be open, but do take people's opinions with a grain of salt.
And finally, know when to drop an idea. Be careful not to get emotionally attached. It can be a lot easier said than done, especially if you've been working on something for a while. If you start to realise it's not going to work, it's always better to call it before it starts to wreak havoc on your bank account, your other business ventures, or your personal life.
Yeah.
Support networks are absolutely essential to achieving your goals. Surround yourself with people you trust and give good advice and honest feedback.
Yeah.
Don't need smoke blowers. We have a drawer full of ideas that didn't work out, but it's always best to fail fast, fail early, and most of all, fail cheap.
Yeah.
Now it's your turn. Go back to the questions we suggested in this lesson and try answering them to test your idea. And if you only remember 3 things from this lesson, they should be: inspiration can come from anywhere, but don't expect to hit a winning idea on your first try. Test your idea in the market and make sure it's something your customers will be interested in. And don't be afraid to let go of an idea that isn't working. Once you're happy with the creative process, you've tested your idea for viability, and you know it has a place in the market, it's time to get stuck into a business strategy. This is how you build structure around your idea, so you have something solid to work on in the planning phase. So we're going to explain how to write a business plan and why it's so important. If you have a business idea you're excited about, you're probably really keen to get started. I know for us, it was really hard to put the brakes on in those first stages. But I can't tell you how many times having a business plan has saved our butts.
Yep.
Basically, a business plan contains your idea, goals, financials, and market research in one document. It doesn't need to be long or overly complicated. It just needs to show that you've thought things through and that your idea is financially viable. It'll help you to stay on track to meet your goals, but it's also the key to getting support from other people. Like if you need a loan, you'll need to show the bank is serious and realistic about making your business work.
So what do you need to include in a business plan? We've attached a template to this lesson that you can fill out. But for now, we're just going to give you an idea of what goes into each section and why. So first, company details, your company name, the owners, the location, any web domains, you get the picture. Then for the really juicy part, what is your big idea? Write down your main product and your service. Here's a tip. You should be able to summarize your idea in a few words, like farm to table or a boat rental. If you're having trouble, the concept might just be too complicated. It's always better to start off with one thing that you do really well. You can always add on as your business grows. Next up, your business goals and a clear, specific timeline for them. What do you want to achieve in your business and when? Set short, medium, and long-term goals, and up to 5 years from now. But also remember, goals don't have to be set in stone. We're a perfect example of that. Our original product goal was an overnight boat tour to a nearby island, but just before we launched, it closed down. So obviously that goal wasn't for us anymore, and it was pretty stressful.
Very stressful.
Yeah, it was. The plan B that we offered was a day boat experience, and it was an instant success. Basically, things don't always go to plan, but that doesn't mean it can't work out. You just need backup plans. Now you want to talk about company structure and your staff. Will you be a sole trader, or are you going to work in a partnership with someone? Will you need a team of people to help you out, like we do? Ash and I thought at the beginning that we would need the absolute minimum number of people at Red Cats to work, and we started from there. Oh, and that reminds me, new business owners sometimes forget about your minimum legal requirements. So make sure you include things like licenses or trademarks and competitors and their intellectual property. Legal stuff and domain names can be a big headache if you leave it too late.
Okay, now we're into the gritty details. This is where your strategy is really going to come into play. You need to think about the resources you'll need to make your idea and goals a reality. For more information, check out our lesson, Resourcing Your Business. For now, ask yourself, what assets do you have and what will you need? For example, Red Cat wouldn't be much of a boating business without the catamarans. Also, things like warehouse space, transport, etc. if necessary. Then it's time to look at your target market. Who are you trying to reach and how will you reach them? What's the best way to advertise? And following on from that, it's the fun part. Or maybe not so fun, but it has to be done. Your financial strategy. You don't necessarily need full profit loss forecasts or a break-even analysis in your actual business plan, but you do need to give an overview that matches those calculations. And of course, be prepared to back it up with the full documents if asked. So, in this section, you'll need to talk about pricing strategy, capital requirements, profit margins, and repayment strategies. Again, you'll base these on the information you already have in the plan. Let's take pricing strategy as an example. In your plan, you've got to set out your target market, your location, and have an idea of ongoing operational costs. All those things are going to influence your prices. Same with capital requirements. Will you need a lot of upfront capital to get you started? Where will you get those funds from? Once you've got all this information into a document, you'll have a really strong overview of what your business strategy will look like. A plan will also really help you identify and reduce any risk factors that might cause big problems for you. For more information on risk management, watch our lesson, Building a Business for Long-Term Success. Now you're ready to write your own business plan. There are lots of templates online you can download to get you started, and we've attached one to this lesson as well. Download one, then start putting together the information we've just been through. If there are any sections you can't fill out yet, it's probably a sign you need a bit more research to get ready. Above all, these are the most important things to remember from this lesson. A business plan is the best way to demonstrate that you've done the research and have a clear strategy for success. Your plan doesn't have to be long and complicated, as long as it covers your business goals, needs, and how you'll attain them. And a plan's not a contract. Use your plan as a guide, but don't be afraid to rework your strategy when you need to.
Every business needs resources to succeed. Whether your dream is to go it alone with a small craft or to eventually run a chain of restaurants. In fact, being able to plan and find and allocate resources effectively is a huge part of becoming a successful entrepreneur. In this lesson, we're looking towards the practical side of starting up your own business. How can you resource your ideas so that it becomes a reality? We'll talk about 3 resources you'll need: staff, finances, and technology. We will give you some great tips on how to use those resources wisely. So when you're rolling out your idea, people will be integral to your success. The more variety you have in your people, the better a resource they'll be for you. For us, our staff are always included in our creative and planning processes when a new idea comes about. So getting a variety of trusted opinions and perspectives is so important. It's not just to get feedback, but to actively make your idea the best it can be. So it's crucial to create an environment where everyone respects your vision and feels respected themselves. This is how you stay true to those all-important core values. Along the same lines, don't be afraid to bring in a partner if that's what your business needs. Know your own strengths and have the courage to include people who have different strengths to you. After all, no one can be a master at everything. Look at us. We have completely different strengths and weaknesses. Asha's more strategic, while I'm a people person and I'm really sociable. We'd never have succeeded without the other to complement our skill sets and to cheer each other on along the way. Another great tip is to actively look for external experience. Invest in advice and assistance from professional allies to help you grow your idea in a successful way. And always be learning. Entrepreneurship is a process of growth, so embrace that. Asha on computers didn't used to get along at all, but now he's a wizard with Excel because he's really committed to learning it, and now he can't get by without it.
Now, let's talk about financial resources. Obviously, finances are a huge aspect of making your business project successful. You'll always need to know where you stand financially. Start by making sure you understand your books, otherwise you have no idea if your business is doing well or not. Stay aware of any funding that might be available to help you. Are there any new business grants from banks or the government to get you started? You can even use QTIC to help you find suitable grants for your business. We'd also really suggest you get to know your bank manager. Get them on board with your business and help them understand your goals and ideas. They can be really useful resource for like financial insights on your journey. Always keep some cash in reserve. That's a big one. Do a risk assessment of what could impact your business and how much cash you'd need to cover your outgoings for at least 3 months. One year, we hadn't planned ahead and had a really low season. We were almost to the point of needing to sell our car and wedding rings. I don't wear mine anyway, so.
Yeah.
Not a great experience, and I would not recommend.
Yeah, no, it was bad.
We write down potential risks and use a traffic light system, green, orange, red, to show risk level. It's a great way to prepare for the worst. You just never know what might be around the corner. For more information on risk management, check out our lesson, Preparing a Business Plan.
Let's talk about technology. If your business idea is crafty or quite small, you might think technology isn't important, but trust us, embracing new tools can be a huge help. There's always something out there to make processes more efficient, or even just to help you understand an aspect of your market just a little bit better. Technology is a big topic, so we've got 3 tips to help you ease into it. Number 1, there are heaps of free business tools and software online. Research as much as you can and make sure you use them. Number 2, follow business leaders from all types of industries and look into tools that they recommend. For example, you might not think you need a graphic design platform, but if you decide to create flyers or an online newsletter, you can save money with an online tool like Canva. And number 3, a little bit goes a long way. You don't need to invest a heap of money into fancy tech. Just start with something like Excel.
Over to you. Look at your business plan now and start making notes about what types of resources you'll need to achieve each goal. And here are 3 things we can't emphasize enough. Stick to your strengths and don't be afraid to outsource your weaknesses. Look into whether you're eligible for any financial grants and embrace tech tools. They can make your life so much easier. Creating a memorable brand can be a huge contribution to your long-term success. So it really pays off to think carefully about who you are. What do you want your business to say, and what are the types of people you want to reach? If you're not too familiar with marketing, don't worry, this isn't my department either. In this lesson, we'll break down the basics of creating and selling a brand, what branding actually means, how to develop your personal brand, and how to relate to your customers.
Branding is a really fun and creative process, but there does also need to be some method to the madness. The best brands put a lot of thought into how they present themselves. But let's start with a simple question. What actually is a brand? A brand is a combination of how you present yourself to your customers so they can easily identify and remember who you are and how your customers see you. It includes the name of your business, the colors that you choose, the type of language you use, the social media platforms you use, taglines, staff uniform, so much more. But beyond that is a representation of who you are as a business. It tells your customers what your values are and what you have to offer.
So how do you create a strong, memorable brand? The key is making sure every part of your brand supports your business's identity, keeping it as simple as possible. It definitely doesn't need to be expensive. This is something you can DIY with a little research. First, your logo should be easy to read. Extremely famous brands can get away with just using a symbol, like the Nike tick or the Facebook logo. But until then, keep it simple. Stick with the name of your business in clear lettering. Actually, speaking of naming your business, that's a huge part of your brand. It's the way people will get to know you, so choose wisely.
Ash and I picked our name Red Cat because it directly relates to our product, red catamarans. Duh. And before you settle on a name, make sure no one else is using it. Next, choose a color scheme. Start by doing your research. What else is out there in the market? Do you want to stand out from the crowd, or do you want customers to associate your brand with an existing brand? When we were designing the Red Cat brand, we knew that the birding industry was mostly blue and white, but we wanted to stand out from the crowd. At the same time, we wanted to communicate something that was really fun and really optimistic. Red and yellow are great colors for these values. They're often used to market to children. Think of McDonald's or Surf Lifesaving. You might also like to pick a tagline. This is a short phrase that sums up what your core values are and how you want to be perceived. Nike, for example, uses "Just Do It." This is great because it's active, aspirational, and to the point. For Red Cat, we use "Adventure of a Lifetime." It's exciting and describes what we have to offer. So between our name, our colors, and our tagline, you immediately get a sense of what we're about. That's the beauty of a well-integrated brand.
You also need to think about your personal brand. Basically, this is how you represent your personality on public social media. Your personal brand is made up of the same kinds of things as your business brand. The language you use, the pictures you post, your interests. In this day and age, especially if you're a sole trader, your personal brand is very deeply connected with your business brand. So, if you're starting an eco-friendly business, don't share an article that criticises electric cars or shows you hunting wild elephants. These kind of inconsistencies make you look dishonest and untrustworthy. So be careful. Reputations can be made and easily destroyed.
Lastly, but most importantly, your brand needs to reflect your customers' needs and their desires. The best brands understand their target market and they relate to them. Going back to the Red Cat brand, we knew our target market would be looking for something that was really fun, warm, and high energy. Everything about our brand reflects that goal. Making sure your brand is cohesive and relatable for your target market is so important. Even if you have a great product and the right market, inappropriate branding can completely sabotage your success. If your business is making soft toys for young children, a dark, edgy brand strategy it's not going to work. Once you've established your business values and you've created a brand that embodies them, you have to stick to it. The more integrity you show, the more your customers will trust you and the more likely it is that they're going to come back. Always stay true to what you set out to achieve and respond accordingly as the market changes. Something that we did at the beginning and recommend that you do now is to make a list of words that describe your brand and your target market. Then you can use that to brainstorm some names, some colors, some taglines, and keeping in mind that your brand should authentically represent your core values. Make sure your brand has a clear message and reflects your product, and know that your target market can relate to them.
Being a successful entrepreneur goes beyond simply delivering on a good idea. You also have to set up for long-term success. You need to have ideas to help you innovate and grow, but you also have to make sure you're not going too big too quick. In this lesson, we're talking about how you can plan ahead to make your business stable and sustainable in the long term. We'll go over the importance of understanding your numbers, common things that can impact your sales and disrupt your business, and how to strategically plan for the future.
When we say it's important to stay on top of your financials, you might be thinking, well, that's a bit obvious, but it's actually really easy to overlook. And we see this happen to new businesses all the time. You have to stay grounded in the financial reality, literally from the get-go. We're about to give you the most important tip you'll ever get. Seriously, ready? Please set up a separate bank account for your tax. We cannot stress this enough. Getting behind on your taxes can literally ruin your business. Put aside 30% of your gross revenue and do not touch it until tax time. Next, make sure that you have enough capital to support yourself until your business starts making enough money. For most new entrepreneurs, that means keeping your day job. But for us, it was years before the business brought in the same amount of income as the jobs that we gave up. So please be realistic with your expectations. Part of staying on top of your financials is also about calculating return on investment. Create budgets, profit and loss forecasts. Look over your business plan to consider your expenses and how you're going to cover them. Will it come from sales? If not, how will your business generate income? For more information, check out our lesson, Preparing a Business Strategy.
Another crucial part of creating long-term success is understanding the pitfalls that might trip you up on your journey. Risk management is a huge part of sustainable business success. You need to think about potential risks very carefully. Consider worst-case scenarios for every part of your operations. If 2020 taught us anything, it's that even the most wild situations can come true. COVID hit our business pretty hard. 86% of our guests were international visitors. Although we couldn't have predicted when a pandemic would hit, we did realise we needed a plan in case something massively affected our main market, zombie apocalypse. Because of that, we were able to transition to weddings and events, which has thankfully been going really well. But of course, not every risk is that unexpected. What we do, and recommend you do as well, is keep an updated list of potential threats. As an example, a really common threat is market fluctuations, just the normal high and low seasons that cycle around each year. If your business is built around weather, how will you keep going during the winter or wet season? This brings us to another really important tip. Never put all your eggs in one basket. You can't rely on a single target market unless you are absolutely sure you'll see strong returns straight away. Could your product be a fad? If so, how soon before the market loses interest?
Finally, we want to give you one last word of caution. It's so important to understand the difference between the establishing phase of your business and the growth phase. You might have a lot of big ideas, but don't get carried away while you're establishing your business. Begin with a strong, focused foundation and work from there. Long-term business success is not about achieving as many goals as possible as fast as you can. A sustainable business strategy needs to be a realistic approach to making your vision come to life. You might feel like you can handle 80 hours a week to get your business up and running, but will you still be able to do that a year from now? The more fuel in the beginning, the faster you will burn out. Above all, be ready and flexible to make changes when needed. New entrepreneurs sometimes get fixed on making an idea work in one specific way, which honestly can really trip you up. Building something long-term means knowing when you need to change, so please stay open to that.
Now that we've covered some of the risks you should be aware of, you're ready to create your own risk management plan. Make a list of everything that might be a threat to your business, no matter how silly it might seem, and come up with at least one solution for each point.
And if we can give you any final advice, it would be this. Long-term business success requires a solid foundation of research, market insight, and clear goals. Be aware of external factors that could interfere with your business's long-term success. And stay realistic. Don't try to go too big too soon.
Our aim for this course was to try to put together all the things we wish we'd known 10 years ago when we opened our first business. Believe me, there's been plenty to learn and plenty we're all still learning. Owning your own business is one of the most challenging things you'll take on, but it's also incredibly rewarding. So, if you've come here with a passion and drive to make your vision a reality, now you've also got the tools you need to hit the ground running.
Thanks for sticking with us and good luck on your journey to starting your own business.